for classic matches just like the World Cup videos, why not go to patreon.com/drunkredhead. Hello and welcome once again to another edition of the Drunk Redhead Wrestling Classic, and the qualifying competition has finished. So there's only one thing left to do before we can start the tournament, and that's decide who will be taking on each other. So here are the draws. Starting with the women's draw, you may notice from any sort of graphics that come up that they'll be having Falls Count Anywhere matches. It's the same for all quarterfinals onwards. So just a spoiler there, I guess. Anyway, on with the women's draw. Here's me from, when I did the draw. All 8 women in this pot, or at least their countries, / regions, / areas. Match 1. Washington. That's Tamina. We'll play Scotland. It's Nikki Cross. Italy, Alundra Blaze. Against California. That's Ivory, I believe. Massachusetts, Carmella, against North Carolina, Charlotte, and finally Ontario, which is Trish Stratus, will go up against Texas, Ember Moon. And that is the women's draw done. We'll give a quick recap. Tamina will take on Nikki Cross. The winner of that will take on the winner of Alundra Blaze versus Ivory. Carmella is against Charlotte. And finally, Trish Stratus against Ember Moon. So that's your bracket for the tournament. We will find out who wins that later on in the tournament, because we're going to have the first 2 rounds of the men's competition first. Speaking of the men's competition, let's crack on with the draw for that one. And now for the men's draw. The seeds, or the qualifying group winners, plus 3 of the highest rated other people, are in this clear pot here to my left, your right. And the non-seeds are in this group to my right, your left. It'll be 1 seed versus 1 non-seed for the first round. So, who's playing who? Let's find out. California's our first seed, Papa Shango, and Papa Shango will be taking on Washington DC. That's Michael P.S. Hayes. Pennsylvania, Kurt Angle. He'll be taking on Virginia, Mojo Rawley. And the way this works is we're working out a bracket at the same time, so the winner of that top match, Papa Shango versus Michael Hayes, will take on the winner of Kurt Angle with Mojo Rawley, and so on and so forth. Oklahoma, that's Goldberg, and Goldberg will be taking on Minnesota, Eric Rowan. New Jersey, Diamond Dallas Page will be playing, or fighting, should I say. Missouri, TJP. We have Indiana, which is Cactus Jack. He'll be on the attack against Arizona. That's the biggest match so far. Cactus Jack versus Shawn Michaels. Match number 6. Puerto Rico, Epico Colon. He'll be taking on Washington State, which is Greg the Hammer Valentine. Georgia, which is Xavier Woods for match number 7. He'll be taking on North Carolina, Braun Strowman. Match number 8, Ohio, that is The Miz, will be facing off against New York, Kerry Von Erich. So that's the first half of the bracket done. Iowa, Seth Rollins will face off against Kansas, Baron Corbin. That's a slightly even match. England, my home nation, which is the British Bulldog, easily demolished the rest of his regional group. He's taking on Japan. That's the British Bulldog against Akira Tozawa. France, Andre the Giant will face off against Arkansas. Ooh, that's a hard one. It is Psycho Sid. So Andre the Giant v Psycho Sid. I look forward to that one. Our next seed is Quebec, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn will be against Maine, Fandango. Into the last quarter of the draw, Alberta, which is Victor of the Ascension. His opponent will be from British Columbia. It is the other member of Breezango, Tyler Breeze. Next up, Tennessee, Randy Orton will be against Massachusetts, Albert. So we've got 2 matches left. The first of those 2 sees Germany, Alexander Wolf of Sanity. He will be against... Ooh, he's against New Hampshire. That's Triple H. And the final match of the Drunk Redhead Wrestling Classic first round will be South Dakota. That's Brock Lesnar. He is against, who has not been drawn yet, the one person who hasn't been drawn yet, Maryland. That's Shane McMahon. So that is your first round draw. All the draws are now done, so let's have a quick run through it, just in case you missed it. So in the first block of the bracket, Papa Shango against Michael Hayes, Kurt Angle versus Mojo Rawley, Goldberg against Eric Rowan, and Diamond Dallas Page against TJP. The second block of the bracket sees possibly the biggest game of the round, Cactus Jack versus Shawn Michaels. There's also Epico Colon versus Greg the Hammer Valentine, Xavier Woods of the New Day against Braun Strowman, and The Miz against Kerry Von Erich. Block 3 of the competition sees Seth Rollins against Baron Corbin, the British Bulldog taking on Akira Tozawa, a battle of the big men as Andre the Giant faces off against Psycho Sid, and then Sami Zayn is against Fandango. And finally, the bottom part of the bracket sees Victor of the Ascension against Tyler Breeze, Randy Orton is against Albert, Alexander Wolf of Sanity against The Game, Triple H, and the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, takes on Shane O'Mac. And that is the entire draw. All 32 men have been paired up. And now we're going to see the first 2 rounds before we get into any of the women's stuff. We're going to have the first 2 rounds of the men's. They're going to be normal one-on-one matches. Then the quarterfinals will be joined by the women's quarterfinals. They'll all be Falls Count Anywhere matches, as will the semi-finals. And then the finals, well, we'll toss a coin which one gets which. The men or the women. One will get a ladder match, one will get a Hell in a Cell. It's all fun to be had. So join us next time as we open up the final tournament with Papa Shango versus Michael Hayes. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe.